Hello everybody out there, and welcome back finally to an on-time Dark Avengers comic book review. It only took about 3 weeks to get back on time, but we're back on time. The reason everything was set off way back when, of course, was because of the Galactic Single Booster Hero Clicks that was supposed to come out on a Wednesday. I believe it was the second Wednesday of March. They were delayed. The comic books were held off for a week, and they came with the same week's comic books, the week after's comic books, and it was 2 comic books in a row. I had no chance to read it, and I was slowly catching up, and finally we're caught up. And then now I regret to inform everybody that the Avenger Hero Clicks single boxes are coming out next week. Let's hope those come out on time, or else my comic books once again are going to be delayed. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that that does not happen again, because if it does, that'll be the last time I add brand new Hero Clicks to my comic book list. I'll order those separately, because this was an ordeal to catch up to with so much work going on around the house, with the sites, everything. First off, I want to mention something I got from Skeleton Crew. Number 355 out of 1,000 limited edition with the Joe Hill signature of approval. This is the Moon Key from the one-shot of Lock and Key. Has the wonderful moon layout at the top with the North Star at the bottom of the key here. It's a beautiful key. I got it for 2 reasons. One, we're going to be doing a series on Brooklyn Boys possibly, and I saw this key, I like this, and there's a new key coming out. There's 2 coming out next month. I would go to SkeletonCrew.com and check out which 2 keys are coming out, because they are limited editions, and once they're gone forever. The limited, the legacy ones are always being made. So if you're interested, go to SkeletonCrew.com. If I remember, I'll put the link below in the description, and you guys can go check out those people. I'm catching up on my description, guys. Just give me some time. I'm working on it. It's a slow process, because you see how many comics there are. I have to divide them up into their parts, and I put them in order for you guys. So yeah, also it came out this week, and scary enough, Daredevil Season 1, I've read it completely already. It's kind of scary. I enjoyed this book a lot from beginning to end. It's a retelling of the beginning of Daredevil, plus you get the first issue of the ongoing Daredevil series in this hardcover, which I already have in the hardcover of Daredevil Volume 1. Also, if for those of you who didn't know, I don't know where you guys are, they did mention 3 more books that are going to be coming out for Season 1 after Spider-Man. I will most likely be checking out Doctor Strange. I will definitely be checking out the Hulk. Ant-Man is going to be the one from that pile that I choose not to get. The only one out of the 4 of these thus far that I didn't get is Fantastic Four. I am not interested in Fantastic Four Season 1. When the book gets a huge discount put on it, we'll see. But until then, I'm not getting that, and I'm absolutely 100% sure I will never be getting Ant-Man, because Ant-Man is definitely a character that just does not interest me in the slightest. At this time, you never know. Maybe in the future it will, but right now, no. Marvel also announced Hawkeye will be getting an ongoing series, which I'm pumped for, in August. Gambit's getting his ongoing series again in August. Hopefully Avenger Cast by now will be up before I post this video. I'm going to be working on that right after shooting this video and uploading it immediately. But those 2 series are getting are going to be starting up in August. Avengers vs. X-Men still going on. That's going pretty strong. DC is ending their DC Universe figure line, for those of you who are interested in that, which I think is horrible, because you know you like those Build-A-Figures. I'm glad at least Marvel's hopefully going to be continuing that. Any other news? Let's think. There was a convention going on. There's a convention in Chicago that's going on that went on this weekend. If you want any news, just check out CBR.com. They've got full coverage of a lot of things that were mentioned. Other than that, I think that's about it. Now we're getting into the new number 1s. I am checking out, unfortunately, I looked up Rage More, which was recommended to me by Scott. To check out. It's a limited series. I believe it's a 5-part limited series. Unfortunately, I had them in my cart, issues 1 and 2. Unfortunately, issue 2 recently sold out, so I don't have issue 2, and I'm not going to buy issue 1 and then not have an issue 2. So unfortunately, I took Rage More off my order list for next week, because I can't get issue 2 anymore. I did, however, keep Whisper on my list of issues to get, so I will be getting Whisper 1 and 2. Unfortunately, I lost Rage More number 2, so I can't it makes no sense to buy issue 1 if there's no issue 2. So Rage More, unfortunately, either I'm just going to have to forget completely, or I'll check out and trade when it comes out in trade, whenever that'll be, 5 months from now, if I have the money. Okay, let's get into the comic books this week, which was April 11th, 2012. We're in the second week of April, 2 more weeks to go, and then we get into May, my favorite month of the year. So let's do this. We got Independence first, then very little DC, about to get a lot littler, and then we go into Marvel and conclude this out. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic War, issue 4. I was interested in this series because I thought it had a connection to Knights of the Old Republic, the PlayStation game. Slowly but surely I find out that it has nothing to do with that. But anyway, it turns out that Carrick he fakes out a disease called the Jedi brain disease or mind disease, and he fakes out the Bestials from attacking the Jedis, or at least he tries to prevent it. What was it called? Jedi brain fever. Yeah, he faked it pretty well, and they run off, they retreat, they take the life pods and they run away. So he kind of saves the day, but only for the moment. The future of the Jedi is going to be changed in the next issue. For those of you who are interested in this, I know you're enjoying this. Me personally, if I had to choose, they actually are mentioning all the new series coming out for Star Wars and the series that are out. I'm going to be checking out the Blood Ties Boba Fett miniseries. If I could trade this series in, I probably would have enjoyed Agent of the Empire, Iron Eclipse a little bit better, a little bit more than this. Also, the omnibus of the Sons of Tatooine is now out. Dark Times Out of the Wilderness, I didn't check that out. That's basically done, and Force Storm is on its way out this month. Next issue is going to be the conclusion of the Knights of the Old Republic. From what I hear, they chose to leave Legacy behind and go into a bunch of minis instead, which is good because you get a lot of different stories in 1 month. But at the same time, some of them are kind of eh. So this was to promote the Knights of the Old Republic game, computer game, not the Knights of the Old Republic, the video game that I played on the PlayStation 2. So it's a little bit of a letdown after finding that out, but I'm still enjoying the book. If you guys are interested, check it out. A number 1 this week, a mini-series, 5 parts, got 5 stars on every single review that I've seen. Now, I could be wrong, I've missed a few. I haven't gone on all the sites this week because I've been very busy, but this definitely gets 5 stars from me. Alabaster Wolves, issue 1. It's about the girl on the cover who is, quote-unquote, a messenger from God. She has an angel that follows her around and she kills demons. In this issue, she comes face to face with a werewolf, and you get a little bit of a backup story. You get a talking crow. You get a very interesting dialogue and a very interesting setup for this series. It was all revolves around a bus stop where she's waiting for the bus. This crow's like, "You're a murderer," and she's like, I only act in the will of God." And correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but does this seem like an angel to you? Do angels have bat wings? I mean, this is something new to me. But beside the point, story is awesome. The fight between her and the werewolf is awesome, and it turns out that the buses don't actually stop at the stop she's at, so she actually waited there and had the whole confrontation with the werewolf for nothing. There's a bunch of other stuff in there. Next issue cover looks really awesome also. I'm hooked for all 5 issues. This definitely has me coming back for the next issue. I would absolutely say 5 stars. This story was awesome. Don't want to give too much away, guys, because it's the first issue. So I want you guys to check it out, and then you come back and tell me if you enjoyed it. I'll be back for issues 4, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All 5. This definitely has me interested to see what happens next. I'm really getting into these independent books. I'm telling you. Lord of the Jungle, issue 3. Tarzan saves Jane like we all figured he would. Then the father gets into trouble. He saves him. It's all a bunch of the like Jane and her father getting into trouble, and then Tarzan saving them. Clayton finds out that his uncle and aunt, whom are Tarzan's parents, ironically enough, were killed there. They didn't die at sea. They died on the island. And yeah, artwork is astoundingly beautiful. Let's see if I can find some nice artwork for you guys. Tarzan versus the ape is nice. Oh, Tarzan and Jane kiss. And Jane's not too receptive of that at first. And then he kind of like drags her off, and it's like to be continued. But in the next issue, it actually says right here, Jane Porter is safe with Tarzan, where the two are drawn closer and closer together. So they're getting closer and closer together. So it's kind of a misleading ending where he's dragging Jane off and she's like screaming no. By the next issue, you know that's not going to be true. They're gonna. It's all true love. It's how they fall in love and stuff, probably. Really good story. For those of you who are Tarzan fans, I grew up, my parents had the Johnny Weissmuller was his name? The black and white Tarzans, and Johnny Weissmuller had the Tarzan call. He's the only one that will ever be able to do the Tarzan call the correct way. Those were fun to watch growing up as a young kid, and to this day, unfortunately, don't know where those tapes went through the teenage years. You know, all the moving around of tapes and box, and now we have DVDs. Hopefully, maybe one day they'll make DVDs and colorize it. Who knows? But then again, it was nice in black and white. But for people like me who watch Tarzan, you know, this is a pleasure. Also, Ghostbusters from the 80s. You know, that's why us comic people, when we get something that's old, that reminds us of something we watched when we were kids, we just grab onto that and we keep going. Number 2 of Saga. Really good. A lot less, you know, I did get a comment, and I do want to say it because that person actually removed that comment. I understand why it's sold. The sex thing, I meant it's sold for people who don't pay attention to who writes the books. I know the writer who did also Brian K. Vaughan, I can't pronounce the name, I'm sorry, his last name. I know he wrote The Y, and I know about The Y. I've heard people have been recommending that book to me left and right. Just don't have the time and money and resources to get the entire the Y series. I understand it's the writer that's selling the book, but that's to people like me, you, the person who commented. I'm not going to give your name away. I don't know if you'll get upset if I do that, so I won't. But I understand it's because of the writer. That's why I picked up Saga to begin with, and I saw it was selling out, so I'm like, okay, let's check this out. But to some people, they hear sex, they hear nudity, and they run to the book. Thus why Bomb Queen has such a wonderful following of people, left and right. So, this does give me a Star Wars feel. We were talking about this on the Avenger cast. Me, Phil, and Scott and Audrey were talking about this, about how it's like a Star Wars feel, sort of or a Star Trek feel. People are chasing after Marco and his wife and the baby. They want to kill the wife and the husband and keep the baby and raise the baby. So you get in side stories of all people that are being hired to go after them. There's a scene with a naked spider lady. Yes, naked spider lady. I said that all in one sentence. Who was hired to kill them and take the baby. The wife threatens to kill the baby, and then the ending is kind of gruesome. But it turns out that the horrors really do exist. And as the assassin runs off, she's like, if you really love your child, pull the trigger before it's too late. And then they're like, these weird children with missing body parts are like, you looks like you could use some help. There's some other stuff in between that's mixed in between. Really good. I'll show you some artwork here. Funny dialogue for sure, absolutely. No advertisements on the covers. The cover is fully artwork or blank. Which is nice of Image, but you know Image isn't going to keep it that way. Also, do note, other than the Image logo, the price tag is on the back. Image is doing a very, very smart thing. They're putting this in the back so you can enjoy the cover art, even though the cover art for this book is kind of creepy. I like Saga. It has me hooked. I would absolutely recommend you guys check it out. The writer is an awesome writer. He's done The Y. He's done a couple of good books. Also, remember though, this is a mature book. I would highly recommend it for people 18 and older, not any younger. Another mature book that I gave a chance to, and I will be back for issue 2. Secret, issue run, written by Jonathan Hickman. Yes. Really good. Really good. It's this agency who want to offer this other big corporation of people who they have a lot of dirty laundry, let's put it that way, offer them security because they feel that the security, once again, cover in the back, no advertisement, but the barcode is on the back. You can enjoy the front artwork even though it's not exactly something you want to look at. In the beginning of the book, one of those people is his house is broken into, gets his tooth pulled out, that's why the front of the cover. And that And then it leads into him, the guy threatening with, you know, the guy's family if he doesn't listen and give him the code for his computer because he wants to data off his computer, basically all the files and everything that the corporation has. And then it leads into the title screen, or leading into the beginning of the story. And then it goes into this title also, and then it goes actually into the actual comic book, which is not colored the way you'd think. The panels are all colored in different colors. No individual coloring, so to speak, like wherever, like this person's white, this person is brown, it's all shaded in the same color, and it's the whole book's like that. See how this one, like this one's black and white. I like the scheme, I like the color scheme. So anyway, this corporation is working with another corporation, and they are they offer security, they offer protection and stuff like that. And he's like, your security sucks. We had somebody actually infiltrate, and they came in, no problem, no question asked, and got all your information like that. What he's offering them is a way to sleep well at night, so to speak. He's offering them security. And the book progresses, and then we find out in the end that the person who broke into the guy's house at the beginning of the book was working for the security people, and the whole point of the heist was to get them to think, gee, we need better security, and that's what they're offering. Whole bunch of stuff in the middle of this book. I'm not going to spoil the first issue as much as I will talk more about the issues to come. Really good, surprisingly, because you know, usually I'm into like the science fiction-y stuff or the superheroes or the old-fashioned kind of stories. I'm not really into books that really are just about people, a company, a corporation swindling another corporation by knowing their secrets, thus the title Secrets, into getting better security by paying them mountains of money. So they're making mountains of money now from these people that they tricked into getting better security, but the security is better to protect it from the security company. It's really funny and really corrupt and really, it's interesting. I would absolutely recommend you check out at least the first issue. It was really, really good. I didn't expect to really, I had high expectations because of Jonathan Hickman, but I did not have, I came out really enjoying it. Let's leave it at that, and we'll talk more about Secret in the following issue. Infestation 2, number 2. Infestation 2 is officially over now. In the first Infestation, I read each story, each part 1 and part 2 of, let's for example, the Ghostbusters. Each story had a connection to the Infestation main story with the zombies and Brit, who was in the stories, and it all had her going back. Now, granted, it had something to do, all the issues had something to do with aliens. However, in the first story, Infestation 1, they all came together and ended leading into Infestation 2. I feel like after reading Infestation number 2, I could have skipped all the issues on this checklist. I could have skipped from here to here and just bought issue 1 and 2 and got the entire full story. When you open this book up, it takes you right back to where you left off on Infestation number 1. You didn't have to read any of the connecting stories to get the ending of Infestation 2, and that is a huge, huge minus in my book. Infestation 2, I was expecting to do a little bit better than Infestation 1, and as a matter of fact, it did the opposite of that. All the people on this cover don't show up in this book, number 1. Number 2, I liked how Infestation 1 and 2 was. However, the other books that you're supposed to buy that tie into this were supposed to have or meet a goal towards this book, which they didn't. One was the one shot from February was a joke on the Infestation, and the one shot from this month with 30 Days a Night I was hardly even interested in. I like Infestation 2, number 1 and number 2. I think the series ended very well, very nicely. It ended up where Brit had to rip out, what's his name's heart? I forget his name at the moment. We're very bad with names, Michael. I just noticed that. Kilgore's heart. And Boyles had taken the bug from the first issue, the one that looked like the alien, and had to actually, and that was actually what they had to combine with his heart to destroy the huge worm, if that makes any sense, and send the aliens back to hell. And yeah, the world is safe, and Kilgore has no heart anymore, but he's a vampire, so honestly he didn't need it to begin with. Long story short, there's other stuff that happens inside this book, but I don't know. Infestation 2 kind of was a bit of a letdown for me this year. Maybe there'll be an Infestation 3 and it'll be better than 2 and maybe even better than 1, but if I had to rate this next to Infestation 1, Infestation 1 was still the better of the two. My opinion, you can argue it, you can say I'm wrong, you can say Infestation 2 is better. That's your opinion. My opinion was Infestation 2 did not live up to Infestation 1. Infestation 1 was better. You could say I'm wrong, you could say that Infestation 2 is better, that's up to you. Personally, Infestation 1 was better. It was a nice little run, but once again, I felt like I was reading individual stories and not something that has something to do with all of those stories put together. There's no mini-series mentioned this time. Maybe Infestation 2 did not do as well as IDW thought in sales, and thus they're not going to lead into an Infestation 3. Possibility, no idea. Suicide Squad 8 marks the end of Suicide Squad for me. I didn't have an interest really in Suicide Squad to begin with. Harley was supposed to be my hold on this book. Basically, the Suicide Squad gets made, given a new mission by the end of this book. Harley doesn't die because Waller wants to keep her alive. It's all backstory with all the characters and some downtime. I lightly say downtime because they're all at like the headquarters of the Suicide Squad, and they're just chillaxing, so to speak, as however you can. That's just it. It's like they're just relaxing, and you get some serious quiet time, and it's like the aftermath of the first story arc, and then they get ready for their next drop by the end of the issue. I don't know, it just doesn't hold me anymore. The team is changing once again. The next issue involves, I believe, Deathstroke. Yeah, it just doesn't, it didn't hold me past this issue. It took 8 issues to get through the first story arc, and really it just ended up giving them a new mission. I hate Amanda Waller even more now, and I don't know, I feel like I skimmed this book, and you know what I said, guys, if I skim a book because I'm not interested enough, it's going to go bye-bye, and that's exactly what Suicide Squad 8 did to me. So bye Suicide Squad. 2 books from DC that did not, I did not do that with. Batman and Robin 8. Robin now has to deal with, and for those of you who don't know by now, I don't know where you've been, killing nobody. And Bruce takes Damian back to the manor. Alfred fixes him up, fixes Bruce up. There's a whole father-son dialogue. Now, a lot of people have said bad things about Batman and Robin, and it's because of the whole predictability of what Damian did in issue 6, where he actually turned on nobody. Let me tell you guys something. I knew that was going to happen, which made Batman and Robin very predictable for the first 6 issues. But this issue, for those of you who said F Batman and Robin and F, you know, the whole story arc and how stupid it is, this issue is exactly why Batman and Robin is my second favorite comic book. Why? Because you get in deep, you finally get into Damian's head, which you've never really done, which hasn't been done up to this point. Okay, so they're healed up now. They're cleaned up. Alfred basically said a few concussions, a few wounds, so he patches them up and whatever. Bruce takes the USB of the thing he was recording, like talking to Damian, saying, you know, I don't know where you are. And Damian wakes up and he's listening to it on his iPad or whatever, iPod. And there's the father-son moment. The father-son moment that everybody's been waiting for so long. Damian Wayne doesn't know who he is. He wants to be like his father. He finally admits to his father. He wants to be like his father. He's always wanted to be like his father. But, and I quote, sometimes I don't know what I am or even who I am. And then Bruce finally says, you're my son. All I want you to be is the best Damian Wayne you can be. And that's the father-son moment that everybody's... I mean, yeah, everybody likes Damian Wayne as the snot-nosed little thing that he is, but I'm sure it's gonna... that's definitely gonna stay intact. Don't worry. Just because they had this father-son bonding moment, don't think Damian Wayne's attitude's gonna change. It doesn't work that way in comic books, my friends. So they share father-son quality time because they have to, because they're healing from what happened with Nobody until, of course, the bat signal. And the next issue actually leads into the Court of Owls. And, yeah. So for those of you who did not like Batman and Robin because of the whole predictability of the series and how it was predictable about Damian Wayne, this was a very warm moment between Batman and Damian, and this is going to set the bond for the current Robin and Batman in issues and stories to come. Because now the whole weirdness of father-son and the problems and the things that they were paralleling about are now actually getting closer together. Their goal is closer together. They're becoming a team finally. Before it was like oil and water. Now it's more along the lines of they mesh a bit more. So for those of you who don't like this kind of sappy thing, this is what the old DC was all about. The sappy kind of get together. It's good to know that at least some of the old DCU reaches into the new DCU. This issue made Batman and Robin issue 1 through 7 worth reading because it all led into this point. My opinion, once again, you don't have to agree with me. I actually encourage people to not agree with me. But this issue actually made Batman and Robin worth reading, and why I don't say that the series was a letdown. However, I will say Detective Comics was a letdown, and The Dark Knight is 1 issue away from being dropped as well. But Batman and Robin and Batman have yet to disappoint me, because Batman and Robin, yes, it was predictable. However, this issue makes Batman and Robin, makes me happy I decided to hold on to Batman and Robin. Maybe some people should check out issue 8 and see what I mean. Just saying, I've gotten several. There's not just one of you out there. There's several of you out there that actually asked me in messages why. Issue 8, pick it up. You might not feel the same way I do. Once again, we're all different reviewers out there and different readers. Green Lantern issue 8. Point A to point B. Hal Jordan tricks Black Hand to channel some green will energy. He saps it and uses it for his ring. Sinestro versus the Indigos. We find out more about how Abensor started the Indigo, or how the Abensor had, what he had to do with the Indigo tribe starting up. And then we get the huge splash page at the end where, and for those of you who don't know by now, I have no idea why, because if you saw the cover for next month, you know that for some messed up reason, Sinestro actually gets inducted into the Indigo tribe temporarily. We all know it's not permanent. We all know by the next issue that's not going to stand. And yeah. So that's Green Lantern. The artwork was beautiful. Point A to point B. Hal goes after Sinestro to save him, and he finds out that he's been assimilated into the Indigo tribe. With that, Mike's giving me that we are at 28 minutes, I believe. Yes. Really good book. Really good book. Suicide Squad is not really worth picking up for me anymore. So come back for the next part. We have a huge stack of Marvel still to do. And yeah, so come back for Marvel. See you guys in the next part.